another mother, and we're both super geeks. I'd like to think Gina and I are high functioning geeks.
Yes, high functioning geeks.
That's what my husband says. Like, you put lipstick on and you're a geek, then you're a high functioning geek.
There you go. I love all things technology, but I also think what has helped me kind of stay in the forefront of this technology world is the ability to take risks and just jump in and do things and not being afraid to make a fool. I always say, once you've gotten over the fact that you have to make a fool of yourself sometimes, then you can do anything online, because I think most people fear doing, especially video. We're going to talk about social video. I think we fear making a fool of ourselves on video, and so many people don't use they don't use live videos because they're afraid they might make a mistake. And I said, I am so way past that. I've made a fool of myself so many times on video and live that it's there's nothing that I haven't tried. And so I do think that's one of the things that I encourage people is got to let go of the whole need for perfectionism when it comes to video. You really, and that is a hard thing for a lot of people is, and you know what, I'm going to stop. Did you stop sharing? I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, I was seeing your Dropbox.
Oh, good. Well, it was pulling open a presentation, but that's okay. But I think the biggest thing, I work with people when we talk about social video and live video is, number one, we have to let go of perfectionism. And then you have to answer the question, why bother? Like, why bother with live video? Why bother with video at all? Right. When you can make beautiful graphics with quotes over them and look amazing, why bother doing video? There's two words, and that's trust and likability. You cannot build trust and likability with anything faster than you can with video. And I mean, I like to even use the example of commercials that we watch. I mean, I am a huge fan of Progressive, and I think Progressive is one of the insurance companies. Insurance companies must have a fantastic marketing budget, because if you look at Flo, the character of Flo and Jamie, those two characters on the Progressive commercials, like, they're so likable. Now, some people will disagree and they go, I hate those commercials.
I love
think
Flo.
some of them now have crossed the line to way too corny. Right. But the Progressive, what's the other one? Geico is another one. They have some that, to me, they don't work for me, and some you get to know these characters, but you're getting to know them in 30-second video. And like Flo, I just want to hang out with Flo. I want to hang out with her. Jamie, I think, needs his own sitcom from those commercials. And so I look at that and go, how is that possible in a 30-second commercial that they can get the likability factor and the trust factor built? And I think it just comes from us getting to see them over and over, which is why consistency with your videos is another thing that's important. And we have tools now that allow us to do this for free. So there's just no reason we shouldn't be putting out more video. So when I ask people, why have you still not, embraced video the way that we know works? And people talk about, I don't like having to show up on video. I don't like the spontaneity of live video. It's just kind of scary. I mean, even Heather doing a webinar and using Zoom. Okay, that's nerve-wracking for some because, oh my gosh, the technology didn't work. Gina's link didn't work. It took me to a dead place. And you know what? Who cares? Let it go. Yeah. Everybody's okay with that. Like, it's one of those things that we're all in an age where I would much rather hear somebody live that makes mistakes than I would watch a polished video that I can tell was so professionally produced that you're probably trying to sell me something. So if you can be real with people and you make a mistake, I've been on video and I'm like, okay, my computer has no power cord and it's at 1%. I go, hold on. And I bent down and I'm crawling under my desk and I'm plugging my computer and going, oops, forgot to plug that in. I just think people they like that. They feel like, okay, you're like me. You make mistakes like me. versus trying to be perfect. So once we get past that, we realize, okay, we have a lot of tools at our disposal. And today there are so many tools. I mean, Heather, you and I have talked about, like, there's TikTok videos if you want to do, short form videos, and we'll talk about that.
Right.
TikTok videos, there's Instagram lives, there's Instagram stories, which are your lives after your lives. You can post them in your stories. You can post them on IGTV. You can also upload pre-recorded, video on IGTV. You have now what Instagram rolled out a month ago, Reels. Actually, a couple months. It was August 20th or 30th.
And one more thing.
Instagram has what they call Reels. And Reels was rolled out to really copy TikTok. So, and TikTok is very controversial, but I'm going to show you there are people who have done amazing things on TikTok that are very informative and educational. So we can poo-poo new tools all we want. We get, when Instagram came out, oh, that's just for those young kids. I always say, here we are sounding old people. We need to stop saying those things. Stop saying, oh, those young people are all on TikTok. Yeah, there's a lot of 55 plus people on TikTok, and they're educational, they're informative, they're doing a lot of really great things on there. Now Instagram rolls out Reels, and we've got Reels, we've got YouTube Live, we've got LinkedIn Live. Does anybody here have LinkedIn Live?
I do.
You got approved already for LinkedIn Lives.
Oh yeah, I've been using it for months. Yeah.
Yeah. So if your audience is on LinkedIn, if most of your audience is on LinkedIn, you want to go through the process to get approved to do LinkedIn Lives. Yeah. For some reason, LinkedIn is still, a year later, they're still making people apply for, and I will put in here, I have the link for where you apply. And you have to click on this link, and you have to go through this formal process of filling out an application. It's crazy. I don't know why they do that.
But I think they're trying to make it elitist, trying to make it, I mean, I heard they're going to open it up here soon. I hope so.
Well, it's been over a year. So I'm like, I'm not sure why they are still making people do this. And at first their goal was they really wanted to control the type of content being rolled out on LinkedIn. So it wasn't like Facebook where you just had people eating lunch going, hey, everybody, we're going to wait for everybody else to join.
Right.
Hold on. It's like those make us all want to poke our eyes out. But LinkedIn a year later is still making you apply. So in the chat, I am putting the link. If you have not yet applied, just click on that link after this webinar and it'll get you started in the process. Now, we had a client, we did application torture to LinkedIn. Every week we applied because she, literally 8 months later, she still was not approved. And she goes live every Thursday on Facebook. She's a business coach. She puts out amazing content. And we were like, why is she not getting approved? It's so crazy. I contacted the people at StreamYard, which is one of the tools that you have to use to go live on LinkedIn. We contacted StreamYard and said, can you help us? Like, how do we get her approved? Yeah. Still, she wouldn't get approved. So we did every week. We filled out the same link. We went in here and we filled out the application and hit submit. Every week we did it for her. She finally got approved. So sometimes you have to apply more than once. Yeah. Sometimes you have to do it every week. Torture them. Torture them. But if your audience is on LinkedIn, it's worth it because the reach that you get doing a LinkedIn Live is much better than you uploading a video on LinkedIn, and way better than putting it on YouTube and sharing a link on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we have all these platforms, Facebook, Twitter, you could go live. And I'll talk a little bit about some of the tools, but you can go live on every platform. You can also record videos and upload them, as pre-recorded videos on all these platforms. Right. You can get so creative, and I'll tell you what some of these have caused us to do. Is some of these have really caused us to kind of go into movie making mode of storyboarding out our videos. Like when you're doing reels on Instagram or TikTok videos, they're not just goofy dance and lip sync to a song. You can do that, but for business use, you have to plan out your content because it's so short. Reels only gives you 30 seconds.
Right.
TikTok gives you 60 seconds. And remember the old days when we had Vine videos? 6 seconds.
Right.
And Vine videos, when those came out, I thought, who can teach you anything in 6 seconds? That's so ridiculous. However, Home Depot had one of the best accounts on Vine, and Home Depot was doing these 6-second home improvement tips in videos that were so good. And it became like one of their best, and they loaded them all on their website after. It was one of the most creative uses of video that I had seen. 6 seconds is crazy. Right. So yeah, and Heather, you and I have talked about, we need to do more fun but informative TikTok and Reels videos because people love them. They're just, it's edutainment at its finest.
Right. Let's humor the group and let's all assume that we're not active on TikTok.
Yes.
I can say that I'm not either. I have played with the app. So if you haven't downloaded the app, now would be a good time to do so.
And here's a quick, and I'll show you a couple that I really like. Let me go back to Zoom, and now I'll share my screen.
Okay.
Couple, before I share it, I want to tell you the difference between, I'm going to compare TikTok and Reels. So and Reels, every time I say Reels, just think that's Instagram. Instagram rolled out their version of TikTok, and it's called Reels, Reels, like movie reels.
Right.
The difference, TikTok gives you 60 seconds, Reels gives you 30 seconds.
Okay.
TikTok, I don't need an account to watch somebody else's video. I can share that link with my family and friends, which I do all the time. I see a great video and I'm sharing it with my family in our group chat. I'm like, oh my gosh, look at this cute dog video. And those are always ones that we share, aren't they? My daughter and I did a couple TikTok videos, and then I downloaded them after, and I shared them on Facebook, shared them on Instagram. So you don't need an account to use the videos that you're creating there. So you might want to create a TikTok account just to create the fun videos and then download them and use them other places where your audience is.
Right.
So keep that in mind. It's just look at it as a tool or an app, kind of like Snapchat. You can do the cool filters that make us look amazing. I wish I had that right now because I always go, holy cow.
Oh, I know, they're fantastic.
HD makes me look so much older.
We're making everyone feel old now, Gina, because I'm not actively on Snapchat. My kids hang out there 24/7. So
yeah, but we use the camera to take pictures and videos, and then we can use them other places. Right. So keep in mind, if you go, I'm not an Instagram person, or I'm not a Reels person, or a TikTok person, it might be that you could use it as an app to create the content that you can share other places. So with that in mind, I'm going to show you, there's a woman. So Heather, most of you may not know Sue B. Zimmerman. Heather, you know Sue B. Zimmerman from Instagram. Well, there's another, believe it or not, there's another Sue Zimmerman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And she is TikTok famous. She's not Sue B. Zimmerman. She's just Susan Zimmerman. How weird is that? So here is a woman that, and can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a woman that creates lots of 60-second educational videos. So again, and she's not 16. She's not some little, teenager doing this. She is I love her videos because she's really informational and educational. So I'll just show you, how do you make, let me find one that's actually, one that I've actually implemented. This is one, how to use time. So TikTok has all these really fun filters that allow you to do, I could be talking and say, let me show you this on my Facebook account. And then I'll put my hand up. And when I remove it, you're seeing my Facebook. So it's like this time warp or thing. So let me click on this one and I'll show you. And you can have volume or not.
Here, tap on that, then tap on record and do something really weird and wacky with this effect. Give me a like if you think this is pretty cool. Tap on the plus sign, then tap on effects, and this is what the effect looks like circled here. Tap on that, then tap on record and do something really weird and wacky with this effect. Give me a like if you think this is pretty cool.
Okay, so that was one. She was just showing you how to use different, here's the transport anywhere one. Oh, play.
Tap on the plus sign and then tap on effects, go to new, and this is what teleport looks like. It's that one there. Now you're going to select a photo, which is where you're going to transport to. So I'm going to pick a photo here, and now I hold out my hand. I'm transporting to the lake. So tap on the plus sign and then
so
tap
see
on
how
effects.
in 60 seconds she's teaching you something. Now she's teaching us using screen recording how to use TikTok, but you can teach anything with your business. What is it that you want to, you see a lot of people on Instagram doing the one where there's just music and they're standing there and they're pointing to words,
Right.
and they're pointing to things. So they're doing that. And educating people on what they do to coach people, and so it just depends on who your audience is. Now, again, we have a co-working space that we own here. Let me go to my profile and I'll show you an example of one that I did, and I did it just so that I could share it on our Facebook page. So this one.
I want to see you back it up, back it.
Now, what did that teach anybody? All that was entertainment, but it was showing people during COVID what we were doing to clean the surfaces of our space. And then we wrote a post about it. But it was a fun video that took choreography because we had to plan. The music comes from the tool. And again, Instagram has these same features. So if you're wanting to, create fun things, I created them in here, but I don't have my audience in here. Like I might have 3 people who are my target market on TikTok, but I created the videos here and then I took them with me and brought them to Facebook, brought them to Instagram and used the videos there. So you can do that. And again, I tell people when they go, this all seems so overwhelming. It can be if you're looking at, I have to learn it all today and use it for my business to make money. No, you don't. What you have to do today is create an account at one of these. Maybe it's Instagram. Maybe you already have an Instagram account and you play with creating videos in Reels. And then you start playing with it and you don't even have to share them at that time. You can create them and save them as a draft. But by playing with the tools, you learn how to use them. And I think that's the thing that I am always, the day something comes out, I sign up for the account, I get in there and I start playing with it. I create goofy videos. I mean, I think on TikTok, I created one with my dog. I created one of me drinking coffee. This one. Totally goofy because I wanted to learn, how do I use this tool? I didn't know how to use it. So I got on and just started playing with it. Did I share that anywhere else? No. But you can't learn how to use things and be perfect and make money with your business. You have to get in and learn how to use the tool by messing around with them and playing with them to learn the features. And then you go, this is how I could use this for my business. You start seeing the business application like Susan Zimmerman's. I love what she's done on hers.
Yeah. Can you download these videos, Gina, and use them on other platforms?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Like on TikTok, I just download them, I save them to my phone, and then I can go and share them on other platforms from my phone. And they're just like any other video that you're creating. What they've done is like any app, they're allowing you to, TikTok has, and now Reels just roll out where you can do this, you have these timers that you can say, okay, for the first, you use a slider and you say for the first 10 seconds of if I'm doing a song, I slide it and then I just record, I press record, and I can even do slow motion. So it allows me to do a move slowly and then I play at regular speed. So, I mean, I feel like I could go into super detail on this, but you're doing all this and recording it. And when you're done, you can just download it. But they have the tools built into the system that allows you to do things you couldn't do by just going live.
Right. Well, and I think it's important, even as, based on your business model, that you just try it.
Try it.
I tried Snapchat for a while and I just didn't feel like it was a place I wanted to be. Now, if I need to get hold of and they're not responding to my text messages, I go right into Snapchat and they answer me like that.
Well, it's funny because that's what I use Snapchat from the day it came out. I created an account and I used it to just communicate with my teenage daughters who are now in their late 20s. But I used it to just see, how are people using it? Do I see a business use? In that one, I never saw a business use that I could utilize. So I never used it for business except for the beautifying filters. Ring, it was like beautiful.
I do like the
I'm like, dang, the problem is you need to walk around with a filter when you leave the video camera because everyone's going to see you in real life and go, holy cow, you look different. So I try not to use filters because I'm always afraid when people see me in real life, they'll have a shocked look on their face. But those are tools that for some people, it makes sense to learn how to use them, especially if you're targeting an audience that is either on that platform or that likes consuming that content. Right. So I look at it and say, we have a digital marketing agency. We do social media. My audience is on Instagram.
Right.
My audience, even for our co-working space, they're on Instagram. So I need to be there.
Right.
And I need to create fun videos that engage people so they'll connect with us.
Right.
Do I want to create goofy videos and do those things and spend my time doing it? Actually, I do. But most people are like, ain't nobody got time for that. Yeah. So you might have to look at it and say, okay, play with it a little bit in your spare time. Do you see an application or not? But I'll tell you, if it connects with people, there's a likability factor when you're doing these and you're having fun with it. There's a likability factor. Going back to live video, I love live video because I just feel like you're having a conversation. It's real. So the more you can do live, Instagram lives, I love just turning on the camera and, hey, we have this coming up. Wanted to make sure everybody knew about it. Yeah. And then when you're done, you can save that as a story on Instagram. I can save it as a post on Instagram. If it's long, I can put it on Instagram TV and have that as IGTV content.
Right.
So, and then in IGTV, you can even put it into playlists and categorize your content there. So there's a lot you can do. If you're going to go live and you want to be educational with your content, so it's a little planned, then I would suggest using a third-party tool like StreamYard. So I'm going to put it in chat, StreamYard is one of the few tools that is approved by LinkedIn, and it'll allow you to, so on Facebook, I can just go live on Facebook right now without any tool. On Instagram, I can go live without any tool. On Twitter/Periscope, I can go live without any tools. But on LinkedIn, you cannot go live without using a third-party tool. That's another weird restriction that they put in. And part of it was in the beginning, they wanted your content to look more professional. It's branded. So if you see anybody go live on LinkedIn, they typically have a branded frame around the screen. They pull in the comments and questions onto the screen that allows a more polished look. And so StreamYard is one of the tools. There's Be Live is one that I used for a couple years. I used that to go live on Facebook. It allowed me to do side-by-side or Brady Bunch style like this, interviews on Facebook Lives. StreamYard is the same thing as Be Live, or there was Blue Jeans. I think I used that one for a while. There's a bunch of them. But StreamYard, it tends to be right now the darling of the tools because LinkedIn approved them early. And it's one that you can use for free. If you use it for free, the restrictions are they have their logo as the branded frame.
Right.
You can only connect, I think, one account at a time versus when you pay $20, I think it's $20 a month, then you create your own branded frames and your color scheme is in there. And I can go live simultaneously on Facebook, LinkedIn, Periscope, YouTube, all at the same time.
Right.
So I can just push the button and do a webinar, and it's going to broadcast live, and I'm going to see all the chat. I'm going to see all the comments from all those platforms in one place. So I can see,
Well, the thing with the, like you all came in and joined the meeting. So I was having like this conversation with Gina this morning. I'm like, how does Zoom and StreamYard work together? And they really, so in Zoom, guys, you can share live. Like right now we're sharing live to Facebook. You can also share live. Can you talk a little bit about Workspace on Facebook? Do you know anything about
Facebook?
That?
Yeah, Facebook rolled out several new kind of features for groups, and Workspace is more of like, we call it like our Slack. Like we use Slack with our team, our internal team.
Oh, okay.
And we do Slack video. So we use a lot of Slack video when we're doing internal, teams. But now all of us are in the same room, so we're not using we're not using the video as much.
How do I know I should bother with this? I mean, Vine came and went. No one talks about Periscope anymore. Like is TikTok just kind of a fad and it's going to go away?
Here's my answer to that. I learned to drive on a Datsun B210. That was my first car. And if I would have said back then, is a Datsun going to be around for very long? Should I not learn to drive until the Teslas come out?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You have to learn to drive on the tool of the day. And then as the next tool comes out and the next version, you tweak and you learn a little more. But there's less to learn when you keep evolving with the tools. If you cross your arms and say, I'm just going to wait for all these fads, we'd all still be using AOL. And if you are still using AOL, you need to change that. Every time I see an AOL email, I'm like, seriously?
We cleaned out the Gmail account and we found a bunch of those AOL CDs. Does anyone remember I think they shipped millions and millions of those things out.
I'm not gonna go too far down that mom lecture path, but get rid of that email because that says something about your brand right away. When we talk about how your brand looks and appears, and that's another reason I think video. We started working with a client, a cybersecurity client, and we went to his website. And he wanted us to work with him on some email marketing campaigns. And I went to his website and he has this big thing on the home screen that says, enter your email address and your name and email address and download, and it was for a free assessment for them to do an audit. And I'm looking at his website. There's no blog. There's no photos of him or his team. Right. There's no videos on there. There's no information that tells me, number one, he's legit. Number two, that I can trust him. And when you talk about trust and likability, your website should have real photos of you and your team. And video, if you can have a video of you somewhere, even if it's in your blog area, if you can have some video blogs, it allows people to get to know you and like you and trust you so that then they will be more likely to give their email address to you. I told him, it's ironic that you're a cybersecurity company because nothing on your website tells me I can trust you. And I would never put my email address in his website because there was nothing that told me he was legit. I said, where is a picture of you? Where is a video of you talking about how I can be more secure? So I just think it's one of those things when we're looking at our brand and our marketing, video is a shortcut for that. I saw a great question. Carol asked, can you talk about using live videos to keep a group accountable when they're taking a 30-day type coaching session? There's a couple things I want to talk about when I talk about accountability, which let's see if some of you who don't have your videos on right now, if you'll turn your videos on. Because when I do a coaching session, if I'm on, I tell everybody, you need to turn your videos on. You need to turn your videos on because I need to see that we're all engaged. It's like teaching. It's funny. I was talking to my granddaughter who's 13 and I was asking her, tell me about how it's going with doing Zoom video with your teachers. Like, do kids show up in their pajamas? And she said, if kids show up in their pajamas, the teachers kick them out of the Zoom classroom and a message to them saying, go get dressed and log back on. And I was like, dang, that's good. Good for that teacher. I love that. And then she said, we all have to turn our video cameras on because the teacher wants to see that we're not on our phones playing, Fortnite while the teacher's on, Or most kids are super savvy. They have 2 computers side by side. Like they've got the dual monitors going, like they know. So to me, when I talk about holding a group accountable in a coaching, part of that is I would not start my coaching, or I would tell everybody in a coaching session, like, this is a coaching session to be accountable to each other. One of that is we need to see each other. We need to be able to be accountable to one another, even to the point of seeing that we're all tuned in. And and I can see if somebody looks confused or somebody's, so I think, yes, live video is such a powerful way to build relationships. And I think the accountability piece of each person sharing, tuning in, I think that's huge. And let me know, Carol, if that answered that question, because I thought that's how I interpreted that. Okay, good. Music option isn't available for IG for business, Rosa said. So here's what's interesting. So if you do music on videos, social videos, you have to be careful. TikTok and Instagram, both Reels. Instagram Reels and TikTok have built-in music tracks that you can click on and select.
Right.
Those are license free. If I play music or I select music from my laptop to play during my videos, and you don't have the license to that, you're not going to be able to load that. It's like, that's it. You're going to get in trouble. So be careful. And there have been people who did a whole live, Facebook Live, and there was music playing in the background. And then they wondered why their whole video had no sound. Because Facebook, they have tools that know that's not a licensed video or audio. And so they take all your audio out. So be careful when you're thinking of trying to incorporate music into your social videos. Use the ones that are built into, and Instagram did roll out a bunch of new license-free music, tracks that you can pick from in Reels, Reels. Reels is the tool that is the TikTok-ish.
Have we showed them where it is, Gina?
Yeah. So let me go back to.
Some of you may have heard stories. And I think a lot of people like stories, Reels, TikTok, so if you're going to be building, I put my Instagram handle in there if you guys want to check out what we do on our Instagram feed. But we do stories every single day. I just started doing Reels. So it's just a matter of, if you guys want to follow me, I'd love to have followers, and the more the merrier. But also you'll get a chance to kind of take a look at how we create one video every single week. And then from that video, we create a blog post. So I have the video transcribed. That becomes my blog. Then I take my blog and I syndicate it across all of my social media. So I'm only taking, like Gina and I always talk about, it's the center of our universe, right? We've got all the other planets, but the center of the universe is that one piece of content. So if you want to think about using that content as a reel, as a story, as a post, there's lots of different ways that we can repurpose one piece of content.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, Heather, what you do, we teach all of our clients. This is what you do. I don't do it because it's too time consuming. So here's the reality of it. It is dang time consuming. It is not rocket science, people. We can all learn how to use video on our phones. We can all learn to do it. I'm telling you, even the most tech challenged person can learn to use video on your phone. It's just time consuming.
You have to
set aside.
You have to get over that,
But I look at it. So here's my challenge. And a lot of it has to do with vanity. I'm going to just say right there, if I was bald, I would do a lot more video. And I have threatened many days, I'm just going to shave my head and do wigs every day because I hate the fact that I have to go, I've got to just do my hair, get ready, and then I'm going to do video. And I know I'm going to say women have a harder time with video than men because men put on a baseball cap and they go for it. And they're like,
right.
This is what I look like. Women are like, I look older today, or my roots are not done, and I got to get this done. It's like, girls, we got to get over it because that's our biggest challenge.
Carol's like,
I know. I hate that about it, but it's true.
Yeah.
So I always say, if you can set aside one day a week and you say, okay, today's going to be my day in my studio. I'm going to create one piece of content that's video. Now, if you have a team that can take that and there's tools that you can transcribe it, but you still need a person to go through and make it a blog post. So they clean it up. There's virtual assistants you can hire. So again, if you have a team, it is doable. If you're doing this on your own, I mean, I always say I'm the cobbler's, my kids are without shoes and I don't even have kids because I don't have time. No, mine are all grown. Actually, mine all work for me. And it's like my team here, where they're working on everybody else's stuff. So do we do live videos all the time? We try. So give yourself grace and say, if you can create one video piece of content a week and you put that somewhere, amazing. You're a rock star. If you can take that and turn it into mini pieces, you're a bigger rock star. If you're making a blog and stories and videos everywhere, like you're doing everything you're supposed to do. But give yourself grace and know that one piece of video content is more than most people are doing. So
what does it look like, Gina? Can we look at it?
Yeah. So I'm going to go to Instagram.
We're not seeing your screen yet, Gina.
I know. I had to first go there. So I'm like pulling this up because if you were on the webinar last month with Heather, I showed you this ninja trick. So I'm on a desktop. I'm not on my phone. If I want to see, look at you. Your cute picture. If I'm on Instagram, I can click on my desktop. I can click in the right hand, that blank space here. If I just click on it and I bring up the word inspect, click on inspect. What I'm trying to do is I want to turn my computer screen into my computer thinking I'm on my phone, because Instagram doesn't let you do things on your desktop. Some things are limited. You have to only use your phone. But if you click on the white space, go to inspect, don't worry, this is not technical. You don't have to know what any of this means. You're just going into the code area, and you see in this little top area, there's a little picture of a little icon of a phone and a tablet. I click on that because I want my computer to think I am a phone. I am a phone. And then I hit refresh in my browser because I need it to think it's a phone. It's a phone. And now look, it's a phone. See, now my cursor changed, and you see the plus sign. It allows me to upload video. I can go into my stories and add stories. So this allows me from my desktop to go in and click on, yeah. So I'm going to go to Social Connects. We posted a story yesterday. We had a birthday party in here, and one of them was a video. So when I click on the video, suddenly Instagram wants us to, this is one of our offices here, our Social Connects office. Some of you would go, oh my gosh, I would have go into seizures because it's so crazy in there, so busy. But once you're watching a video on Instagram, it will show you more videos. If I'm watching a video, it'll then say, oh, you're wanting to watch videos. See, if I do nothing, it starts showing me more videos.
Right.
And so automatically, this is why, in this little icon, Reels icon, if I click on it, it's going to show me more Reels videos. So I tell people the reason you want to get on Reels and create your content in Reels is because Instagram's going to show it to total strangers who aren't following you yet. It's going to help you be discovered because people watch one and then they just, it's like Netflix. It's Netflix. It's just going to go to the next one and the next one and the next one. And so Reels, and let me explain Reels. Reels is just a 30-second video. And at the end of your 30-second video, it will post it as a reel, so it's findable to people who aren't following you. It also posts it on your regular Instagram feed.
Right.
It also allows you to download it, and you can post it on Facebook if you want. So there's your one piece of content multiplied.
Right, and I love
in a pretty simple way.
And
the downside is you've got 30 seconds.
Right. But we're looking at stories right now, right? Not reels.
Yeah, in Reels. Let me move this because, well, your Reels go in your story. So that's why I say Reels is a multitasking piece of content because it's going to put it everywhere. It's going to put it in your stories. It's going to put it as a post. It's going to put it in reels on its own. If I go back to, let me get out of this and go back to just my home screen. If I'm in my home screen, Instagram is going to show me more reels right now because they're trying to promote and get more people using reels.
Right.
And the reason it's confusing to people is it's just people are going, I don't even know, where do you find it? How do you find it? If I go to my Discover little magnifying glass, which again, most people don't do, most people just go in, they look at their home screen and they're just scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
So the challenge with reels is people don't even know what it is. But if I go to Discover and I click on one reel, it's going to then show me a bunch of reels. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And how do you know which ones are real and which one's a story?
They have that little icon. So I'll show you when I go to them. See this? Oh, see, here's somebody who did a TikTok and then they posted it on Instagram. This girl, Ashley Reeves, I follow her on TikTok. And then so I came over and found her. And all she's doing is taking her TikTok videos and she's putting them on Instagram.
Right.
So but you'll see the little icon, but not many people are doing them. So it's hard to find if I have to, find people. Oh, I was like, wait, I recognize that office. Oh, Bailey. It's always weird. I'm like, wait, I know that office. It's ours.
So that's a video, but that's not a reel, correct?
No, because all reels will have. I know. Look at.
Oh, these are stylists.
All reels will have the little icon of reels next to them or on them, just like TikTok does. They brand them. And then once you watch one reels, there's another TikTok. And I don't know why if I were these people, I would be doing it on TikTok, bring it in and load it as a reels because you're going to get more reach on reels.
Where do you go to reels, Gina, versus where do you go to?
If I create a video.
Okay.
Oops. Let me move this. Create a post. If I go into create a video, which see, this is where I really would probably want to use my phone.
Yep.
Because if I want to create, on my computer, it keeps trying to pull something up instead of, if I go to create a live video on my phone, it will ask me, do you want to create a reel? Do you want it to be a reel instead of a live video or?
Let me just know, hopefully you guys, can you see that, Gina?
Yes.
So when you pull up, you just click on, so let me go back here. You click on the little Instagram camera that's all the way at the top. And you click on that. And then you come to this and it says live story reels. And reels is right here. And what it will do is you could take a picture of anything you want. And then it's just a short form. Some of you might remember Boomerang. So this is isn't it kind of a version of Boomerang, Gina?
No, because Boomerang is a repeated, it goes back and forth, like it's a 3 second, and then it just keeps repeating, so it just looks like you're doing, that's Boomerang. Reels is you have 30 seconds, and if I want to see a bunch on my profile, if I click on my profile and go to Reels, so Reels versus IGTV, see, Instagram made this way too confusing. Because IGTV is long form video. This is where you can do an hour of video. You can put it on your IGTV.
Right.
Reels is 30 seconds. So I want to click on the Reels app and I'm going to see all of my Reels, which are right here. I only did 2 of them so far on this account. This is my personal one. And you can see somebody's Reels that they have. But when you go to create, like Heather said, you have to go to your home screen and go to the camera. But now see, on my desktop, there's the downside. You can't create the video on your desktop. You would need to be on your phone. And then you create it and you choose Reels. Are we all confused? Yeah, I think it is. That's the thing I go, to me, I did a whole blog post on TikTok versus Instagram. TikTok has so much controversy around privacy issues and everything else. So some people are afraid to even use TikTok. So Instagram was like, this is the time to strike. Let's create our version of TikTok. It just is so confusing because there's IGTV that nobody knows what it is. There's Reels that nobody knows. There's stories.
Well, and here's what I did, Gina, is I just did a quick thing like you said. Just point.
Yeah.
You know, and then you can go in here and you guys will see that you can
add letters.
You can add letters, and then you can also say, show this now, then show that now. So they have them disappear. So you know, just try and have some fun. I mean, don't.
And you have to think of it as an app. Right. That's what helps a lot of people shift their mind to go, oh my gosh, this is another tool that I have to learn. It's an app. So in Instagram, when you select Reels, it's an app that gives you features that allow you to add text in fun places, to add the timer so that you can pause, or you can even do things in slow motion and then make it go regular speed. So they've added features in the app to help you do some fun things. But you need to, I mean, you can do all day courses and learn how to use them, or you can get in and play around with them.
Right. And, so don't be too judgmental about how it looks, you know?
You have to do it for fun before you can do it for business.
Right.
Because you have to be able to learn how to use it.
Right.
So that Jada says, I want to work there. Okay, good. You didn't get dizzy. I know. Our offices we kind of have these showcase offices here in our workspace. And Heather's is the glam office, obviously. Everything's like rose gold and cheetah. Ours is orange balls everywhere. And then there's Karen Ruth White, who has like, it just spews creativity everywhere.
Well, and I'm obsessed with my background. So I don't like the virtual backgrounds at all. So I like to have real backgrounds. And I sit in front of a window so that my face is naturally lit. I don't have to use any natural lighting.
A lot of people. That's a good point. When you're doing videos, if you can face a window, that is your best lighting. Well, that's not your best lighting. It is the best lighting that's cheap because it costs nothing. The ring lights, the Diva lights that are ring lights, no matter what, you look amazing on those Diva lights. We have one of the big ones. We have a media room here, and I tell people, you can't look bad in one of those.
So this is what I use.
Yeah, you have a small one that is, those are amazing.
Yeah, it's a desktop one, so you can put it anywhere, and it really does warm up your face. And this is really cheap. You can just search for ring light or desktop ring light on Amazon, and you'll find them.
See, John, that's why you look so amazing. I was watching, going, "Oh my gosh, John looks amazing. He must have a ring light." They do. They look amazing, and it's always evenly lit. So if you're going to do a lot of video, and you don't have natural light in your room that's reliable, you can get those for $40, $50, $60. You have a good light, and you put it, behind your camera, and it's a great tool.
So who's going to try and upload a reel today? You can do it. Okay, Carol's in, John's in. How about Amitha? You've got the best stuff on the planet. Raina, you can do it. She's like, I don't know.
I'm going to do one. And we're actually, our team is planning a fun Halloween video that we're going to post on Instagram. We're doing it we'll have it loaded next Monday because we actually storyboarded it out. It's 60 seconds.
Nice.
It has, I think, 8 segments that we planned. So if you plan, what's your opening scene, and that's only 5 seconds, and then this scene, this scene, this scene, and we have this fun whole thing with my dog being dressed as a spider, and it's going to be amazing. But you could do some fun things, but if they do I tell people it's time consuming. Geraldine asked a good question of, do these platforms replace YouTube? No, it's just another platform. So that's why I always say YouTube, I love content on YouTube if it's findable content. It's all about Heather being findability. YouTube, if you have content that you spend the time optimizing the description and the title, and you're answering your top FAQs, is what I always tell people to start with. Start with your top FAQs. What do people in your industry always ask? Create one question and then do a video answer. One question, video answer. And you upload those to YouTube. Now people searching for that, they're typing that question into Google. Your YouTube content is findable because you're matching what they're looking for. So to me, YouTube has a different purpose. I think these other the short social videos are for engaging and building rapport and relationship. And I think your content on YouTube, which you can share that on other social platforms as well, but it's to educate, inform, and answer questions to drive people to always make sure on any of these, there's ways for people to click and get back to your website, where they can actually work with you. Don't forget, it is all about building trust and likability so they'll want to work with us. We're not here just to entertain them. We're trying to build trust and likability, and that's what those fun videos do. And then your YouTube videos or longer form videos like this one is to inform and educate and drive people to work with you.
Yeah, and sometimes I'll just use the video feature on my phone, and then I'll just upload it to IG, or I'll upload it, so I just use the video on my phone, and then I upload it directly into Instagram and do things like that sometimes too, if you're intimidated by the app itself.
Right. Yeah. And Anne had another, there's so many good questions. Where does Pinterest fit in?
Yeah.
This is another, I always look at Pinterest as, it's not really a social platform. It's a search engine. So people go to Pinterest and they search for things. They search for recipes. They search for books. They search for recommendations. So if you've got products, especially coaching programs, things that people go to Pinterest to find stuff. So it's like YouTube. They're going to search for an answer. And I feel like Pinterest you should put your content, again, it's time consuming because you need a different format. You've got to make sure that it's optimized.
For me too, Gina, it's like this is my YouTube channel right here. Can you see it?
Yeah, you have great videos on there. Yeah.
So I spent, so if you type in keyword stuffing, so if you got, and a lot of you have been through my course material, but if you just, keyword stuffing gets 590 searches a month. So if I know the keyword stuffing, so there it is, right under Google, there is mine. I have 557 views, and it keeps growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
Because I put keyword stuffing right there. Now, this is only a 5-minute video. So that's actually quite long in the world of YouTube. But I just want you to remember that, I hired a crew and we went down and I do 20 videos in a day over 2 days. So if anyone wants to know how I do that, shoot me an email, Heather at Findability, and I'll craft an email I can send out to you guys. But it's a matter of just being brave enough to get in front of a camera and just wing it. I had no script. I just know the top questions that my clients ask, and I get in front of my video. So what I'll do is I'll say keyword stuffing. So now I have this video, we take it and we have it transcribed. And now I have content that we post all over social. And whether you start on YouTube or you start on Instagram Reels or stories, or whether you want to use TikTok, just do some kind of short form video and just give it a try.
To answer Tom's point though, do you have to be on all these? No. We're showing you all these because you need to pick the ones that make sense for your business and your audience.
Right.
And I always say, pick the one, if you're just starting, pick one platform that your audience are on and nail it. Nail it and then scale it. Nail it there. And then once you feel like, all right, I'm following up regularly there, I'm doing video there, I'm building relationships there, then add some other things in. We're talking about all of them because some of you are on multiple places. Some of you may have audience members there, but it's overwhelming if you try to be on all of them. Play with a couple of them. You may never use them for business, but you might find that, I could take them and put them on my one platform, the video. So
that saves a tremendous amount of time.
That is a great point.
Thank you, Gina. You've been awesome.
Yes, thank you.
Gina.
And let me know if there's any questions you have, and I'm found everywhere at Gina Schrech. Yeah.
We thank you so much for your brilliance, Gina. Thank you so much. We love you, Gina. Snaps, right? Snaps, everyone. Snaps. Okay, Gina. Thanks again. Okay, Marquesa, are you able to chat, my dear? Hello. Oh, hold on. I got to unmute you, hon. Sorry. Okay. I'm not hearing you yet. Okay, I'm not hearing you, Marquesa. I'm still not hearing you, hon. I'm sorry.
I'm going to unmute myself so I can go, the beauty of live video.
So I'm not sure why we can't hear you. Do you want to maybe leave and come back in? You know, how many of you use Zoom? How many of you use Zoom? Show of hands, Zoom. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Zoom. You know, we're looking at, you know, the backgrounds and how you look in your light, but I'm just curious, how do some of you use Zoom? And I'm just gonna, let me go over here. Let's see. I'm going to unmute everybody. Okay, let's go out here. Okay, Marquez is coming back in. So put in the chat for me, how have you been using Zoom? Just what are you doing with Zoom? Are you, you know, having webinars? Are you just connecting with clients? Okay, I'm gonna make her co-host. Okay, Marquesa, can we hear you now?
All right, wait a minute. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, you can hear me. Yes, good. Just want to make sure. Yeah. See, I decided to stand up instead of sitting down. Look at me. I'm standing up. If I wanted to sit down, I could sit down, and I'll show you the picture. It was not going to make sense from here, but I'm so excited. I enjoyed Gina. I don't know if she's still here. You still here? How you doing? And I wanted to know that, guys. Reels confuses me. It makes no sense. So thanks for breaking it down. Thank you, Heather. Heather read my mind. Marquesa needs TikTok. Anyway, I'm here.
Marquesa is the Zoom queen. We are very, very fortunate to have her today. You have really made a whole business model around Zoom, haven't you? Super.
I'll tell you about that story. Yes, it's very interesting how that happened. And I think it's important for us as what I call speakerpreneurs to kind of know, you know, when you decide to use, okay, I'm in loud New York City, guys.
No worries.
Go away. Anyway, I'll mention something like that when I start to speak, but there's kind of like Zoom. In other words, guys, I did not wake up one morning and say, oh, I want to teach people how to use Zoom.
Yeah, but you pivoted.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Better than anyone I've seen. You pivoted during this whole COVID situation. You pivoted like that onto Zoom, like you smelled it coming.
Kind of, when you go back, I've always spoken virtually. I've always been a speaker that would speak a lot virtually because I have membership groups and masterminds and group coaching. Anybody else like that on here? So I have a lot of that going on. And guess what tool I used? Zoom. Because I used GoToWebinar like everybody else. I used Skype and Join Now, and the list goes on. And although I can appreciate those, when I'm at Zoom, it was like love at first sight. I said, oh, baby, I'm not going anywhere. Zoom was my thing. So then, and this is where I'm going to talk about in my presentation. Zoom became the choice for me because it wasn't just a way for me to meet with my clients and nurture my audiences, but it was a way for me to grow my business, as well as save money and maximize my energy. So I would love to know from all of your participants here in the chat room, what is their primary reason for using Zoom? That is really, because I'm talking to entrepreneurs, I know that. But I like to know in the chat room, I mentioned a few things. I said I use it to save money, maximize my energy, up my productivity, as well as grow my business. Yeah. So I'd like to know of those, which one is important. I'm assuming we're entrepreneurs. Everybody wants to grow their business.
We got meetings online. We got remote coaching, relationships, business and kids, school conferences. Keep my butt out of airplane seats. Nicely done, Murph. Business. I really like eyeball to eyeball. I think everyone likes that. Is group meetings. Looking for more ways to grow my business with Zoom.
Gotcha. See, you're in the right place. So I am going to talk about how you can get all of that, all of those benefits, because if you're just using Zoom to meet others, I need you to graduate from high school to college.
Let's do it. Let's do it. There are so many features. Every time I listen to her speak, I'm like writing like a mad person because you know so much about Zoom. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to let you dazzle us with your Zoom information.
All right. Well, thanks for inviting me, Heather. I'm going to go ahead and share my slides here. Again, thank you guys for being here. I love what you said, Heather, about, you know, Marquesa, what makes you want to do this? And guys, I'm going to go ahead and pull up my virtual slides. I do want to sort of warn you a little bit. It's not going to be super clean in the back because I removed the virtual background for today. Okay. I wanted to use my real background. This is my real New York City apartment background. Although Heather and a few of my other NSA buddies were like, I don't like green screen. Virtual background, guys. Virtual background is important. And Heather, everyone before they leave will get a guide that they can download that tells them step by step how to create a clean, professional Zoom virtual background.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Because you can customize it and make it real, and it wows. And the more you wow, the more you set yourself apart from everybody else. Because everybody is using Zoom. Yeah. And we're professionals. Yeah, you want to set yourself apart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into what we call weatherman slides. Okay. I don't know if you guys have heard about the weatherman slides. And these are great. And what I mainly love, I'm like, okay, Marquesa, which were the slides? Here they go.
Slide. What do you mean by that?
Well, do you ever watch the weatherman on TV?
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm.
And then you see him in a little box, and then he moves, or weather woman, whatever way you want to call it. Zoom calls it weatherman. Do you see me in the corner right now? Do you see me in the corner? Now, guys, you may not see me down here if you are not updated to at least 5.2 Zoom. So I'm going to go through those steps a little bit later, but raise your hand and you can do that, or give me a thumbs up by clicking reactions. Go kind of right in your control panel, you'll see something that says reactions. Click that, give me a thumbs up if you can see me in the bottom. And I'm gonna move myself around if you're like, I can't see you, girl. You see me? And if you're like, you can't see me, you have not updated to the latest one. So you may say, but why does it look funny in the back? It's because I do not have my virtual background. So I just gave you a reason why you need a virtual background. You hear me? Because if I'm doing a major keynote, or I'm speaking to hundreds of entrepreneurs, and I got a chance, and I'm on Zoom, then I want to be able to use my virtual background. You hear me?
Yeah.
Now, yeah. So right now I'm in the middle of a Zoom to income tour for Small Business Expo, and they're using a platform I will not name right now. It's all right. It's big marker. It's fine. But they do not have virtual background. So I've sort of fallen in love with my natural background. So I go back and forth. But you want to do it, guys, because Zoomtopia just happened. Who went to Zoomtopia? Yes. Merv, was it hot or was it hot? Did you like jump up? Did you feel like a kid in a candy store? It is. He's like, eh. But anyway, guys, you went to, Heather? You
I did.
Participated?
Amazing. Yeah.
Did you love it or what?
It was great. It was great to see all the different things they showed. It was amazing.
It did. So bottom line is this platform is here to stay. And they are the leaders, and they're only taking it up to the next level. So from time to time throughout here, I will mention certain things that will come out a little bit later.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So, go ahead, Heather. What were you going to say?
No, go ahead.
All right. So recently I had the privilege of doing, we'll talk about all of that a little bit later, Louisa, because I get it. Sometimes a virtual background can be complicated, but in this guide that I'm going to give you, there are certain tricks that if you use those tricks, you'll get a clean virtual background, such as 2 green screens. Are y'all sitting down? 2 different types. Yes. And then certain lights, and it's not expensive. It's all for less than $150. But I tell you exactly what to get. And I also tell you the latest and greatest webcam. So we'll get to all of that later, but let me just get into it because I got so much that I want to share with you. I see more people coming, so this is kind of cool. So this was an event that I recently did where it was an award ceremony and they had a lot of sponsors. They had I have my team member on here, my DOO, Director of Operations, Teresa, on here, and they had 167 nominees. Wow. All right. So it felt, and I served as the MC as well as the executive producer for the Zoom, but I had a crew of about 15 people. So it has evolved to the point where I can use Zoom in multiple ways. And I just want to cover something that Heather said a second ago about, oh, you really pivoted. I pivoted in such a way where Zoom sort of took over my business in a way, but it was always like a small income stream in terms of teaching people how to use Zoom to grow their business. Now, do I talk about logistics? Do I talk about tricks, and all these tips? Absolutely. But you know what I'm focused on, like any other entrepreneur, I want to know, how can I grow my business? Guys, I have closed really large deals because I use Zoom. So I'm going to talk about that. Certain features in Zoom make all the difference. Honestly, when I discovered Zoom, I stopped getting dressed, getting on a train and meeting people. Now, do I need to walk more? Yes, that's another conversation. But the fact that I can maximize my time and stay here made all the difference in the world. And I still get the same benefits. I got tired of running to restaurants or even meeting people in different places. And then I got to look for a Wi-Fi while I'm eating. I'm a food addict, so I'm distracted by the food. You're getting my deal.
Yeah.
So Zoom changed my life. And it helped me serve more people and maximize my energy, all while attracting clients. Okay. So those are the pieces that I love to focus on in Zoom. So when the pandemic hit, in certain circles, Heather is a part of that. Everyone came to me about Zoom. So I went from teaching people one way to leverage Zoom to, I don't know, about 8. and then I started serving more corporations than ever. But hopefully by the end of our time together, you will leave here feeling like Zoom is my place. And this is how it's going to become a part of my day-to-day. Because if you have Zoom-itis, then you're not using it smart. If you have Zoom-itis, you're not using it smart. Right. So, and I'm curious to know, put in the chat room if client acquisition is important to you. Just kidding. Not just kidding.
He's going to say no to that.
Is client acquisition. Do you find, since the pandemic and you are virtual, do you find that your client acquisition has slowed down a bit? To your taste. Yeah. Thank you. Anne was like, yep, it sure has. It slowed down. So I'm gonna make you feel really good because it doesn't have to slow down. It could be much, much, much better. So, and that's really what this particular part is about. So I'm going to, let me move myself. I'm sorry about that. Good. All right. Thank you about that. So you may feel like this is you right now, like, oh, which way do I turn? What do I do? How do I make this happen? And that's why I like Zoom, because unlike the beautiful world of social media, which I love, if social media wasn't in my life, I don't know if I could breathe. Okay. But unlike social media, where there's so many choices, when it comes to meeting people and talking and sharing and showing and just growing and serving, all of those different words, you only got one lane to go, my dear. One street, one road to go down, and that's Zoom. Okay. So again, I go back to, why wouldn't you leverage it? It's more than a meetings platform. I can appreciate the meetings, but I think that's a small part of it. I'm going to tell you, here's a big rule that I have. I'm allergic to the phone. Is anyone on here like the phone?
My kids act like they're hurting when they make a phone call.
Yeah, I don't like the phone. Is anyone else here with me, or does everyone else feel like they like the phone?
I think there's a time and place for phone,
Look at Amitha said, nope, don't like the phone. But some of you like the phone, right? It's okay. I'm not going to discriminate if you like the phone, right? But here's the deal. I feel I'm at more of a disadvantage if I use the phone when I'm talking to potential clients. I'm at more of a disadvantage. Oh, you hear me? Because I want to see your body language. I want to see how you feel. I want to get your attention. If you're on the phone with me and we got a meeting at 3:00, you may say, oh, shoot, I forgot about our meeting. I'll just call Marquesta, although I'm in Tarjay and I'm walking down the aisle of Tarjay. And then you're focused on everything that's there instead of the call. So it is a very big deal. So again, I use it for more than meetings. It is my virtual office, it's my virtual studio, it's every single thing. And you can see the different ways that I use it here. Zoom like a boss means, guys, leveraging the Zoom platform in your business, resulting in smart meetings, stellar presentations, more business, leverage time and energy. I just turned 50 as well, Heather. We in the 50 club, but that means my energy is not quite the same as when I started my business 15 years ago. So that means I got to work smart instead of hard. And guys, this, some of these stats were prior to, the pandemic, but from the second one on down, or at least I should say the second one, is the result of it. It's more virtual than ever, but again, I choose. I'm also a Zoom administrator, so I will share certain features that are only available on what I call the Zoom VIP account. The good news is I do have a few licenses left. So if you want that Zoom VIP account, I will send you to a place where you can get one. And it just means that you get the best of Zoom. It's kind of like the airplane. I don't know about you, Heather, but I like to sit in first class when I can without paying for it. And I don't want to pay for it. So again, same thing with Zoom. I want to be able to leverage certain things that the regular Zoom Pro cannot. Now, if you're on here and you don't pay for Zoom, I need to change your mind. If you really want to make business with Zoom, you got to up your game. So at the very least, I need you to commit to Zoom Pro. So do we agree to that? Please do Zoom Pro at the very, very least. Now, this was not always my world. Okay. You see the chunky girl, I'm not going to say fat, but you see the chunky girl sitting there, and then you see the swimsuit one. Now I've gained a few pounds since the swimsuit shot, but I put this in here because when I first started my business 15 years ago, by the way, I live in New York City. I moved to New York right out of college to work in television news. I worked for CNN Business News on Managing with Lou Dobbs. And I realized I didn't like the news. So I left and then started to work for AT&T Business Markets, where I was a sales executive for almost a decade. And I did a lot of speaking for different events within AT&T and for the employees, which sort of made me think, how can I do this for a living? But most importantly, this is when I understood the client acquisition role. How do I acquire clients? Does that make sense? So then when I became an entrepreneur, who knew that would also be a major part of what I would do? So when I talk about client acquisition, I heard Gina say know, like, trust quite a bit. When you're doing certain things on social media, you're doing them because you want that visibility. You want people to, I think it was Heather.
You better get back to work, you nigger, and pick your cotton.
What?
Guys, this is where we do security, and you hit remove participant. We're going to lock the meeting. All right. So we just locked the meeting, Heather.
Okay.
All right. You can hear me? And then if you see someone that's not here, we can remove the participant. Okay. Gotcha. All right. That sounded weird.
Shut the fuck up, bitch. You fat bitch. Fuck you.
All right. All right.
Oh my
Guys.
God.
Lock meeting. Someone. Oh, good. Thank you. Very good. Good. Thank you. Okay. So guys, if that happens, you want to mute everyone. That's interesting. It's the first time I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You black lipstick bitch.
Okay, come on, guys.
I am so sorry, everyone.
Do me a favor, make Teresa a co-host, Heather, because she's able to sort of see who's that and remove the participant.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've locked the meeting. Okay.
Teresa, make her co-host.
Yeah, make her a co-host as well. Yeah, Teresa Robertson. Yeah, that way I can continue to move on, and she can kind of see what's going on.
Yeah, the meeting's
this
locked.
is the first time I've ever been on a meeting. Yeah, where we had that issue.
It's a good moment.
Yes. Did you just mute Heather? Teresa? Okay, good. She's muting everyone. Okay, good. So if something like that happens, you want to mute everyone. There's a security button that's here. You want to go to that security button. You want to, and then we're going to hit report. So she's going to do that. So go ahead and hit report, Teresa. So now that she's the co-host, she's able to go through the security measures while I continue to go. But you guys still hear me? Everything's good?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. So let's keep going. So I'm trying to think, where was I? Okay. So, I was kind of taking you through. So AT&T Business Markets. Then a lot of folks can relate to this. I got downsized. Ouch. After, about almost 10 years, and then had to find my next thing. And I made a big, bold decision, although I had a lot of debt and a cat I had to worry about. I had a cat, not a child, don't judge. I had all these different factors. I decided that I wanted to start my own business as a professional speaker. And then I went on a road with some major training companies. And I was on the road out of 31 days a month, about 28 of those days. And Sunday was usually a travel day. So the only day I was home was a Saturday. Can you imagine that? And I was speaking about 5 to 6 hours a day. And hey, I would do it all over again. Not right now, but back then, because I appreciated that. But I gained a ton of weight when I did that because I was eating, speaking, driving, sleeping. You get the deal. Yeah. So while I was on the road all that time, that's when I made a decision. That's when I realized the importance of time, not to mention there was a middleman. When you were a trainer for a company, there was a middleman. So they made all the money and I made very little money. But again, it wasn't about money as much as it was about experience. The reason I'm telling you this is that experience shaped my entire life, and it made me decide I want a business that honors my lifestyle. I want a business where I do not have to get on a plane. Mm-hmm. I want a business where I can still speak, I can still connect, I can still do whatever I need without leaving my home. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And that's when Zoom really made all the difference for me. So guys, I'm sharing this with you because of Zoom, I'm able to keep this weight off. so it is a lifestyle thing and it makes a huge difference. And then Zoom also got me on that major stage you see right there. That's at Microsoft headquarters. That was 2 years ago. And it was a pretty large engagement. And I have to tell you, I got a call. And again, this is taking you through that 5-figure meeting. I call it the 5-figure meeting story. And again, I get into how does Zoom fit into this? Mm-hmm. Do you ever get an email in your inbox that says, hey, Steve or Deanne or John, I want to work with you. How much do you charge? Do you ever get that email sometimes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got that email that said, hey, Marquessa, we want you to come and do a breakout session. And I could have done what a lot of my colleagues do or what I've even done in the past and replied with, here is my fee, tell me the date, and we're good. That was a warm client. They were already interested. But I said, why don't we hop on a Zoom? That's the first thing I said. And this was 2 years ago, guys. So this is before anyone knew what Zoom was. Yeah. So when you're going to have that meeting, the first thing, and this is my setup that you guys see right here. The first thing you want to do is make sure you have the latest Zoom. Okay. So there's you can go to zoom.us/download. Teresa, if you can put that in the chat room, that's zoom.us/download. Always. And guys, they deliver an update every single week. The second thing you want to do is create a meeting link. Create your own meeting link. You may say, why do I need a meeting link? It's a branding thing. Heather has one of the most brilliant brands I've ever seen. And why not have a Zoom meeting link that says, and granted, you can probably go to her site and join it, but that says findabilityzoom.com. Meet me, findabilityzoom.com.
I've got Heather. I got Heather Zoom. I've got meetwithheather.com. I bought them all.
See, there you go. But the reason, what was that?
Oh, I was going to say, guys, if you go to GoDaddy, buy the cheapy domains like meet with Tom, Tom meeting, Tom Zoom, whatever. And then just in the forwarding settings of the domain, just forward it directly to your whatever scheduler you have. I use Book Like a Boss. There's lots of different ones you can use. What do you use, Marquesa? What do you use?
I do. I use Book Like a Boss as well, but I want to back up a little bit because if you pay for Zoom, you go in, you want to put a nice profile photo, and then you can kind of set your own Zoom address. Did you know that? You can set your own Zoom address. So there's a couple of things. So when you set your own Zoom address, you can put something like findability at the end, because it's usually best to use either one word or a short little phrase. Okay, and that's going to accomplish something different than this, but it's going to make your Zoom room easy to get to. Okay, because occasionally you're going to have people that will join your Zoom from their smartphone. Am I right? And you don't necessarily want them to go through the browser if you're going to have a breakout experience. So again, when you go into that Zoom back end, and if you want to, Heather, well, never mind. So if you go into that Zoom back end, because I want to share so much, so I don't want to go into the details. I just sort of want to give you the big picture a little bit, but you know where to go. Choose a name and brand your Zoom. That way no one else has it. Just like you do on Twitter and all these other places, brand your Zoom. And here's the trick. Guys, when was the last time you went to zoom.us to join a meeting? Probably just yesterday, right? Going forward, if you do not use your domain to redirect people, a person can go to zoom.us. And I think I was trying to pull up, take a screenshot, but if a person goes to zoom.us, and it says join a meeting, then they can put in your brand name and it'll bring them right on into your meeting room, okay? Or right on into your waiting room. That's another rule I'm gonna get to in a second.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that again, go into that zoom.us and it says join a meeting. And then it usually asks for a meeting ID, does it not? Mm-hmm. It also says meeting ID or meeting name. Your meeting name is gonna be that wonderful address that you told Zoom you want it. So that's one way, brand and protect your brand and put it there. So for Heather, I'd recommend findability. For me, is Zoom Like a Boss. You get the deal. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Now, Heather and I, she's absolutely right. You go to GoDaddy and you think of what's an easy name I can remember. That way, if I'm walking in the park or it's a Saturday and Deanne calls up and says, Marquessa, I need to really meet with you. And I'm like, okay, let's meet. Then let's say I rarely do this. Let's say we decide to hop on a Zoom. I don't have to go and say, well, let me send you the link. And I know Google Calendar makes it easy. I can just say, go to zoomqueenroom.com. So guess what? I got that call from Microsoft, got that email, and I said, meet me on Zoom and meet me at zoomqueenroom.com. And I remember her first words to me were, I don't know that we can do Zoom here, but I'll try. I said, give it a try, because this is going to bring you right into the room. Because I wanted her to know how easy it was. I don't even think I mentioned the word Zoom. I just said, go to zoomqueenroom.com and meet me. I didn't even mention the word Zoom. So she did that. She met me. And then I tend to put all my meetings, guys, on the same days. So if I'm having appointments, they're all on the same day. So my appointment day tends to be Thursday. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to impress her. So I made sure that I had a lovely waiting room. You know, Zoom has a feature called a waiting room. Guys, that's also a great security feature. Now, I would back myself up and have the waiting room as well as the password if your event is in different places on social media. Back yourself up twice. Do a Zoom waiting room. That way, if you don't know who that person is, you can't bring them in. And guess what? I don't know if you know this, you can chat to people in the waiting room and ask them for whatever you want. You can wait until about 15 or 20 people gather in the waiting room. And you can say, all right, tell me what brought you here, or name yourself, or who's leading the meeting. So those are some little tips you can do. But anyway, I brought her into my waiting room. She came early, but I had a beautiful photo there for her to greet her, as well as a customized message. And that customized message, guys, said, oh, I'm so glad you're here. I cannot wait to blah, 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 help you grow your business. This was 2 years ago, so I don't remember exactly what it said. Help you grow your business. Or I think it was business reinvention at that time. to help reinvent your business. Give me a couple of minutes and I'm going to let you in. But in the meantime, prepare to share your face on screen. So please open your video camera. and I put something else on there. And while you're waiting, here's a wonderful resource to help you grow your business. So you can put like a little resource in the waiting room. Does that sound cool? So why not use that? It impresses people. So again, you're like, how do I do all of that? Again, everything is driven in Zoom in the back end when you log into your account. And then you're going to go to settings. And when you go to settings, there's something you can page down till you get to waiting room, and you'll see a little section that'll say, do you want to customize the waiting room? And there's a little pin, you can click it and then customize your waiting room.
I love that.
Yeah, so it's a good way to set yourself apart. So she saw the waiting room, right? So then I brought her in. And here's another thing. Anyone like proposals? Who loves to submit proposals? I want to know who you are. Who on here likes to submit proposals? Say me. Just put an M if that's you, if you like to submit proposals. Heather, there's no one saying that they like to do it.
Shocker.
I know. Oh, except for Raina. Raina says me. She's probably a proposal expert. but I do not like submitting proposals. It's a lot of time. So guess what I do? I do something, and I created this term myself, called the live proposal. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. So what happens is she came in and she said, all right, Marquesa, I remember when I heard you speak, blah, blah, blah. It was so cool. And I got all these notes. So now we're going to have an event and I want you to speak again. And I'm like, thank you. That makes me feel good. Blah, 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 blah. Then I said to her, her name was Sarah. I said, Sarah, I'd love to know a little bit more about your event. So I'm going to ask you some questions and I'm going to be quiet. And then I'm going to start to sort of mind map out what your event is all about. So I did that. And I use a mind mapping service called MindNode, but there's several different ones out there. I have a Mac and I like MindNode. Go to mindnode.com. Teresa, put that in the chat room. But I shared my screen, y'all. So while this was happening, I also shared my screen to make it easier for her to follow. Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't multitask well. My brain can only be one place. So if I'm taking notes on the side and she's talking to me and she's sharing something, I'm going to miss something. But when I mind map, and you can use the Zoom whiteboard to do this, or you can share your screen and use your own mind mapping service. That's fine. But I want to show you what I did. I just started to just create a leg for every segment she talked about. That's what I did. And then before the meeting was over, I said, here's an important question that I think we should all ask our potential clients. And that question was, can you let me know who's part of making this decision? Does anyone know that that's a big deal? Who's part of making this decision? She says, oh, it's 3 of us, Marquez. I said, okay. Well, and when is the date you want to make this decision? Oh, we're going to make a decision. And when I said decision on exactly all the elements of this particular event. And I asked questions to figure it out. And I wanted to know the decision maker. Then I said, listen, I'm going to provide you a proposal, but I'd like to do it live. That way I can share it with you. We can record it. You can get a copy of it. And if you have any questions, I'll get them all out for you. And she says, that's different. Okay. And I said, would you mind bringing the other 2 people on if they're available to check this out? And I think she was mesmerized and she was like, okay. So then it was 3 of them that came on 4 days later. That's when I had the actual proposal that I created from the mind map. And they came on. No, it wasn't Oprah and Gail, but I did do a Zoom with them. So that was kind of cool. So I decided to use that as a placeholder, but you get the deal. Did you have a question, Heather?
Yeah. Oh gosh, what was I going to say? You don't have a question. You're like, oh, it's there, and now it's gone.
Well, we're talking about mind mapping and live proposal.
Mind mapping. Are you doing the mapping live as they're watching you? Or
yes, that's important.
It's really
absolutely.
Powerful.
Yeah, you know why, right? Because I'm writing, and Heather, you're creative like I am. I'm writing down things they aren't even saying. And they're like, ooh, I like that. Yeah. Ooh, I like that. And they're like, I didn't consider that. So it kind of gives you a chance to serve even before they've hired you. Who likes this? Who likes this whole vibe? So I do everything because I don't like the Dear John letter either that says, well, we just started to, and again, this was more of a warm situation. But you'll see why this was so important. So they all came on. And guess what I did when they first came on? because we were waiting for a third person. I played maybe a 30-second video of me sharing on a stage, sharing a little bit of a tip. And they were like, oh, that's nice. So that's your chance to, again, build the rapport, like, no trust factor, and actually put whatever it is. It's different per potential client. But again, I want you to see how I use Zoom. And you can share files just by going right into the chat section and hit share file. Okay. So you can easily do that. Something else I've done, I had a team of about 12 people. That was exhausting that had to make a decision. And I said, well, I'd love to speak to them all. They all came on. And what I did is I had my DOO, Teresa, because this project was huge, and I divided it into 2 pieces, and we created breakout rooms. So she had one group and I had the other. You hear me? It was a live proposal. So you know that there are such thing as Zoom breakout rooms as well.
Awesome. I love it.
Okay. All right. So a Zoom feature, of course, is sharing your screen, which is fabulous. And there's a Zoom feature for transcription. This is where I saved money, because before Zoom had transcription, I remember paying someone, I think about $150 a month to transcribe everything for me. Zoom does it, my darling. They do it. And what I love about the Zoom transcription, there's a video to the left and the words are to the right. So not only is it a written transcription, there's an audio segment to it where you can just listen to it. And you can, how sometimes you're in a meeting and you're like, okay, I don't want to read the whole transcription or watch the whole transcription. But it was when she got to point number 4. So you can literally go right to the video, fast forward, and then the words will show up exactly where you're trying to go. Or you can go where it says search transcription and type in a few words and it will find it for you.
Where do you find that? Where is that in the system?
Where is your Zoom transcription with cloud recordings?
Okay.
You love that, huh, Steve? But guys, I gotta be, because I know some people are getting very excited. This is a Zoom enterprise privilege.
Yeah.
Okay. Zoom enterprise privilege. The good news is I have those licenses. So you can go to zoomqueen.com and there's a link that says Zoom VIP and you can check it out. But it's an enterprise license. But to me, I love this. This to me is worth the whole shebang right here. I love it.
Nice. So nice.
And then I copy them. Sometimes I'll go in and talk, Heather, and then I'll copy that, and then that'll turn into an article.
Smart.
Because I'm too lazy to write it.
We can talk all day, though.
That's what I'm saying. I'll go in and talk all day, or sometimes, and Teresa will tell you I'll do this. I'm trying to come up with a process, and I'll just speak to camera, and then she'll go in, download it, edit it, and then boom, it's added to our operations manual.
That's one thing that we do is we'll take from this 2 videos that we've done today, we will just pull the highlights out of it and then create a blog with the highlights and then the video itself, because you don't want the whole transcription is too much.
Exactly. Unless guys, put in the chat room when a full transcription is important. Course. And you want to give out courses and you want to do courses?
Yep.
Yeah. And I do not allow you to download the videos, but I will allow you to download the transcription. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Isn't that cool? So it's a good way, because sometimes people are like, I don't know, I'm lost, I don't know what to do. So it's a cool thing. Steve says, why not the video intellectual property? That's why. So if you have a course and this course is going, and there's people with courses, my gosh, for years, you can't download that video. You just log in and you have access to that login for life. But if you download that video, then that person will share it everywhere. That's why. Right. So you do not. Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. But the transcription is a good way for people to feel like they got word for word, especially if your topic is a little complicated.
Yeah.
And you know what else I love? A lot of people have podcasts. Cool thing is a lot of people will do podcasts on Zoom and then export the audio, right? Well, you can also use the transcript in your show notes.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I like that. Also, here's something else. I do VIP days. I think you do them too, Heather. Mm-hmm. So when people would pre-pandemic, when people will fly out to New York City staying in an Airbnb across the street from me. So we'd meet for 6 hours or multiple days, depending on if I had multiple people here. I would just pull out my smartphone, go to the Zoom app. Everyone should have the Zoom app downloaded. Action, make sure you do that. And literally go into the Zoom app, hit record, set my phone down. I don't need the video on, set my phone down, and the entire session is recorded.
That's nice.
Isn't that deep? Yeah. So I can go on and on. By the way, Zoom follows up for me, y'all, because sometimes I don't, anybody else struggle with follow up? Am I by myself? Just put it in the chat room if you struggle with follow up. Just put it there.
Struggle is real.
That's why I have Teresa, right? Thank you. Heather, I love you. She said struggle is real. So Zoom also helps me follow up, guys. How does it do that? Yeah. Clickable and easily shareable recordings. Okay. And I want to go, I got so much more. So clickable and easily shareable recordings. You remember, oh, by the way, I didn't finish the I was in the middle of a story. So they came on, they saw the live proposal, guys. And oh, by the way, I shared the recording with them as needed. And by the way, so I'm kind of going ahead of myself. Not only do I send the recording if they ask for it, but while we're in the meeting, guys, do you notice there's 3 dots above your head? Does anyone notice there's 3 dots above their head?
Mm-hmm.
Click on those 3 dots. As the host, you won't see it, but as the host, I'm able, if Louisa, I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing your name. Louisa said, Marquesa, I want a recording. I can literally just go 3 dots above her head and hit allow to record.
Interesting.
That way, once the Zoom is over, I don't got to send the recording. But what's so cool is what often happens is someone said, but I couldn't find it. Where did it go? As soon as the Zoom session is over, it appears. And Teresa can probably explain that better with where it goes. But this is the thing you want to keep in mind. I'm gonna go back to the Zoom settings. Your Zoom settings are everything. If you tell your Zoom settings to send you the recordings after every call, it will do that. And has anyone ever seen that Zoom recording email?
Yep.
It's beautiful. What is in that email, Heather?
The recording.
Yeah, but it's 2 types.
Oh, there's audio. There's audio.
No, not that piece. Oh. The first part of it says, as a host, this is your recording. Click here to log in. The very second section says, and here's a shareable link for everybody else.
Right. Yeah.
Boom. Okay. So then once that person clicks that link, then they're able to see the audio, the video, the transcription. And not just that, y'all. Right now, you may want to share a recording of the gallery view. Gallery view means everybody on the screen in some situations, because I'm always strategic. If it's a meeting planner I'm sending this recording to, I'm going to share the gallery view. I want her to see how big my audiences are, right?
Right.
Think about it. Have you seen those ads that Tony Robbins does with the big, huge screen? That's all credibility. So you may want to show the gallery view. And in some situations, if it's not a meeting planner or anyone you need to impress by the participants, you share the speaker view. Because if I'm in a course, I don't want to see the gallery view. I want to see the speaker view.
Right.
If you're going to record something for a course like Heather, and she's talking to her SEO course, I love y'all, Tom and Rosa and Deanne, but I don't want to see y'all. I want to see Heather on the screen, sharing her screen. I don't want to be distracted by all of that. So then you can just send Heather the recording just for speaker view. And it's all there. You go into the recording section and you check off. But here's something I need to warn you about. You only get 1 gigabyte of recording space if you have Zoom Pro. That's that $15 account. You got it? With Zoom Enterprise, it's unlimited. So I don't have to worry about it. Because back in the day when I had Zoom Pro, I would be on Zoom so much, I would get all these recordings, and then like clockwork, I would do a wonderful event and the recording didn't take because I was out of space. So I love that I don't have to worry about the cloud recording. So that's another plus for Zoom Enterprise. But I just love, go ahead.
What you're saying is that if I use the speaker view link, then that's just going to be my photo as a host?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's really
and
nice.
You can do speaker view, which, what is it called, Teresa? Speaker view with shared something. It's a couple. And that means if you have a PowerPoint, because there will become a time on occasion where you only want to share the PowerPoint. You don't even want to show you.
Right.
There have been studies that have said that the least amount of stuff that's on the screen, you will more than likely to convert more people. Did you know that? So there are some people, when they do those really big, huge calls, webinars, they'll hide themselves. They'll pop on the screen every once in a while and say, hey, just to let you know that they're live. And then they'll close out that video because they don't want you to be distracted.
Right.
You know, they want you to focus on the slides. So one of the view is just the shared screen where there's no other person there. You got it? So my point is, look at all of this the Zoom gives you.
It's really such a fabulous tool.
I love it. I love it. So it makes it easier. So of course I sent her the recordings that she needed, and we did meet, and they liked my proposal, and then they let me know they were going to make a decision. And so instead of me doing one breakout session, which is what they asked me for, because I took them through this process, it turned into 3 breakout sessions. One of those with the leadership group. And this was about, of course, this wasn't all Microsoft employees. This was only like 5,000 of their employees, but I had a chance to meet with the leadership team who was over this particular division in one of the breakouts. And I was a keynote, as you can see.
That's awesome.
And one of the things she said to me was, Marquesa, you made it very different for me because I got to see you do your thing. You see what I mean? And so, and Teresa can tell you, we got an email this morning. What was that email, Teresa?
Can you hear me?
Sorry, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Yes, it was a wonderful testimonial from someone who, I guess maybe she was skeptical at first, but she took one of Marquesa's courses and learned how to leverage Zoom to grow her business. And if I can find that email, did you want me to read that out loud?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, so it just blew me away. It came through this morning, and she said, I wanted you to know that I had a success story with the information that Marquesa shared with her over the summer, and how she can use Zoom to set herself up and to stand out. She applied to be an executive coach for an organization that coaches C-suite level women leaders. And she did everything she was asked to do, everything Marquesa told her to do. And a month had gone by and she hadn't heard from the main coach who was doing the screening. So she took a Zoom like a boss class from Marquesa and decided to record a video email to send out. She did that and boom, she said, she heard from her right away to set up an appointment. In the actual appointment, she told her that she was the first. No one else had sent her a video email, and that's why she stood out. She also said she was a busy person, and that if people wanted something badly enough, they would figure out how to get it to her. Well, because this person did what Marquesa told her to do, she was able to stand out, and she aced the meeting. And the recommendation, she said, was an understatement. And now she's part of that organization. And she just had orientation on Tuesday. She loves the company, and she was just so grateful for what she's learned. And I personally can attest to how my business has grown over the last couple of months. I've had the best month of my business career last month, just by making sure that I leverage Zoom and what's available in Zoom to stand out above all the other BAs in my field. So there you go.
That's great. That's great.
See, guys. Here's another part. How many of us struggle with knowing the difference? And it's okay, guys, no judgment here. You don't really know the difference between Zoom meeting and Zoom webinar. You're like, what is the webinar? Who cares? I mean, tell the truth. You really don't know the difference. Put in the chat room for me. You really don't know the difference. Rihanna said, don't know. Steve says, don't know. Ann says, no idea. Cynthia says, she does know. Interesting. Okay. Well, Cynthia, I'd love you to do me a favor. And we're going to do something kind of interesting right now. We're going to multi-spotlight for a second, me and Cynthia. So bring multi-spotlight Cynthia, because right now we're in a meeting, guys, right? Where they just recently came out with multi-spotlight. So now Teresa is going to spotlight Cynthia as well.
I'd have to find Cynthia first. So
okay. And then you're going to go, and then to do that easier, you're going to go to participants. Because are you ever in a Zoom meeting with like a ton of people and you're like, oh, I can't find this person. Go to participants. There's a search box at the top. Type in that person's name and they'll come up. So there's Cynthia.
But her camera's not on, so I can't spotlight her unless her camera's
that's right. I'm sorry, Cynthia. So Cynthia, you can put in the chat room just a couple of things that you know in terms of differences. So while Cynthia's doing that, and that's also a good way, we'll do kind of towards the end, we'll spotlight Heather and we'll do it that way. But I wanted to kind of go through this with you. There is a difference between the two. I'm going to give you the shorter version. When I do the deeper training, I go deeper, but you wouldn't remember every single thing. There are two different worlds, okay? You got to look at Zoom meeting as your virtual classroom. This is where you can interact, you can see people's faces. Let's say that I was doing a panel, and on my panel was Rosa, Deanne, Tom, and Louisa. I could literally multi-spotlight all of them to be at the top while everybody else is sort of at the bottom. So there's a couple of things there. I can multi-spotlight them, but I can also decide where all the faces go. Okay, I can say, okay, I want to put Steve down here, and I want to put, you can do all of that. Is that cool or what? I love it.
Can you just, how do you do that? Because I'm not seeing that feature. Where do I spot?
Oh, good. You wanna, hopefully you have it enabled, Heather. But Teresa, you want to see if you can spotlight Heather?
I will try. Here we go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spotlight it.
There you go.
And I don't know if it's enabled because it moved you. So, there you go. I can add you too. There you go. Who else do you want me to add?
Okay. So good. Let's add Deanne. Add Deanne.
Find Deanne. Yeah. Go back here.
There you go. We're gonna add Deanne.
Well, I have to find Deanne. Oh, there she is. I'm sorry, Deanne. There you are, Deanne. Go ahead.
So guys, although I'm sharing a slide, what's happening is Heather, myself, and Deanne are all showing on the side. You hear that? Where you see these three folks. So let's say you got a panel, you got a keynote, or just certain group of people you want to show. There you got it. There you have it. So Zoom is giving us more control. All right. Mm-hmm. Now I'm also going to move, and you can unspotlight things. I want to keep moving because I'm getting low on time. I also want to share breakout rooms. Everyone knows about breakout rooms. Again, in my training, I do a whole breakout room exercise. But guess what Zoom did, y'all? They created self-select breakouts.
Oh, nice.
Hello. So that means instead of me just breaking people out, I always recommend that you have somebody else that does that. When you're leading a Zoom session, you don't want to be focused on that because there will always be somebody who says, I don't know how to go in a breakout because maybe they joined from a browser on a smartphone, which is never great. Okay.
Right.
So you want to have someone else manage that. I send out prompts to my people in breakout sessions. I also do a timer. I do all kind of unique things. And guess what I like to do with my breakouts? I like to pop in to different rooms. How you doing? How you doing? It depends on, especially if I'm doing a virtual retreat that's like 3 hours, then I pop into the different rooms. So I want freedom and focus. And I can't do that if I'm worried about the breakout rooms. So I'll have somebody else, one of my producers, to work that piece. Does that make sense? With self-select breakouts, now you can name all the breakout rooms, and then all of your participants can go into whichever room they choose.
Nice.
That's what self-select is. So again, this is what's, guys, it's getting crazy. And are you sitting? No, I'm not going to tell you the news. It's too big. You'll go crazy. I'll tell you. You convince me. Do you know that you can now, well, not now, first quarter of 2021, there will be breakout rooms for Zoom webinar. Ouch. Yes. Now you may say, well, why do I care about that? This is why you care about it, because I've been on the Tamron Hall show. I've done things with Oprah and Weight Watchers, and what the talk shows do, they use Zoom, but what they'll do is they'll change the breakout into a green room, so then they'll have their guests in different rooms. Does that make sense?
I love that.
So Oprah did that very thing. Well, now we can do that on Zoom webinar the first quarter of next year. So they will have breakouts as well as, and they're going to have a debrief room for all of the speakers. Get out of here. Yes. So let me come back to, I get a little excited. I'm going to come back to Zoom meeting. I talked to you guys about the waiting room, all about that. And I talked to you already about the customized meeting link. Okay. In some cases, there's also PayPal integration that is not available on Zoom Enterprise, but this is my deal. And this is just my strategic advice. I like all my money to go to one shopping cart in one area. So I use Kajabi for that, so I don't worry about it connecting directly to PayPal. That's not important to me because I like it all tracked the same way, going through the same thing. And when someone buys something from me, they're automatically put into their membership group and sent their product. And I can't do that on Zoom. So my advice is use your shopping cart and your system. But you should know if you have Zoom Pro that you can have PayPal integration, and you also know about file transfer already. So what's the deal with Zoom Webinar? I'm going to give you the quick and dirty. It's the end-to-end virtual solution. You don't need a landing page. Zoom's gotcha. All right. There's an on-hold feature. By the way, you ever backstage? You ever have backstage prep? Have you ever gone to a Zoom webinar and then the person wasn't quite ready and they were like, let me do this. Have you ever seen that happen? Zoom has backstage. And backstage means it's called the practice session. So when you set up your Zoom webinar, and let's say Heather's going to do something major on SEO, and she sets up her Zoom webinar, it's important that she does not just start the webinar and go live. Don't do that. Instead, check the practice session box, which is right in the section of the Zoom webinar. Why? Because although you may not practice, Heather, you want some time to prepare before it's open to the public. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Zoom webinar does not have a waiting room, not yet.
Right.
So that means you don't want it to open and then Rosa and Deanne and they're all looking at you and you're like, I'm not quite ready. Here's another reason. Zoom has, well, let me back up because I like to share the why before I share the feature. Have you ever had a webinar or something or an event? I call it virtual event because it doesn't have to be a webinar, but it's on the Zoom webinar platform. And people registered and then they emailed you, everything was over like the next day. Oh my goodness, I missed your event, Tom. Can you please send me the recording? Who has that happened to? I don't. Has that happened to anyone? So instead of worrying about that, if you're smart, you'll use what's called Zoom on demand. And again, that's something else you check off when you set up your Zoom webinar. You just check it off. But see, here's the catch. There is a catch. In order for Zoom webinar to work, you must automatically start recording. When I first come on, I want to get my music ready. Even if I got a DJ, I want to get like my whole crew that I just did, and I do Zoom productions all the time. I need to get ready. I need to make sure all my people are set. You get me. I need to get ready. So if you have a practice session, it will not start recording. Okay. And Zoom on demand just means, let's say that Carol had an important meeting and she couldn't join you. And then guess what? All you have to tell her, Heather, is Carol, just go right to the registration page. When she goes to the registration page, this is after the event is over. Guess what will happen? It'll still ask her for the same information, but instead of the event taking place later, it'll say you can watch it right now.
Oh, nice.
And you will get her name and her email to let you know that she's watching it now. Is that cool or is that cool?
That is awesome, yeah.
And some people will take that link and put it in their library. Okay, so it's a lot of, I shared with you. So again, you're not going to get everything, but I just want you to see the power of this. And you already know some of this. You can put people on hold. You can designate a Q&A section. So some of this, but Zoom webinar is that one-to-many. And I love to use it when I really don't need to see people's faces and I just want to put on a production. Right. And I don't have to put on a production. I just want to do a seminar or a deep dive. And I want to do a clean recording so that I can now repurpose this and cut it up and put it on social media, use it in my blog or use it in my course. So I don't want any distractions. That's what I love about the Zoom webinar. I had to record a keynote for a group, which I often do. And I may sometimes do that via Zoom. Well, I like energy from the audience. I need to see faces, right? I need energy. And if I don't see faces, I want to see names. So I invited all my members. I have a Facebook group and a tribe, just like Heather. I said, hey guys, come check me out as I record my keynote. I had all these people in the waiting room. Not only did it force me to record it at the time I said I was going to record it, but that gave me energy. And I did all of that on Zoom webinar. Does that make sense? So I love that. And if you, and again, it's full customization. Look at this. You put your, you can, oh, by the way, what I love is, again, they save me time. So if I set up one Zoom webinar with all these pieces, I can just, use the same setting over and over. Look at this Zoom webinar page. Look at that. Look at that. You see the banner at the top. You see the logo to the right. You see the topic, the description, and the time. And if you look below, you can even put the speaker in their bio there.
Nice.
Okay. Isn't that cool? So I love that it does all of that for me. Here's something you got to know. I learned this the hard way. Don't be like me. Because I have a direct line to Zoom since I'm a Zoom administrator. One thing I learned was although the recordings can last forever, the reports and everything, everyone who registered and all their information is only good for 30 days. So download it and export it. Does that make sense? Download and export it so you don't do like I did and have hundreds of people on a webinar. You're like, get to it later. And then later you're like, it's gone. So see, this is, again, speaker bio that's right there. And then look at this, guys. Are you sitting down? Gina will love this. I don't know if Gina's still on, but let's say that you're going to have an event, guys, and you want to post this event different places. You want to post it on Facebook. You want to post it on LinkedIn. You want to sit it in your email. You want to put it in your blog. You want to put it on Instagram. You get the deal. All you do is click that. You see where it says add, click add, put in a name that you can remember. So Facebook, LinkedIn profile, and email were the names I put in. Oh. Zoom will give you a tracking URL, right? So, and guess what? When I go in to check out my stats, Zoom will let me know, Marquessa, you had way more people that signed up from Facebook than you did on LinkedIn. Does anyone want to know that information? Yeah. Yes. Hey, I love that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then, and what if you want to send it to some partners? You have partners that promote your webinar. Granted, you may have an affiliate program and all that good stuff, but this lets me know Zoom tracks all this in the background for me. Yeah.
So we need to wrap up. I'm sad to say that we have to wrap up. So
so let me close it out. So there's more things, and again, I can go on and on and on. Guys, go to zoomqueen.com, or you can go directly to Zoom to Income if you want to get the enterprise account. My email, put our email in the inbox, Teresa, team@mlpspeak.com. And I go through even more things, and you get all the gist here. And guys, I'm going to give you this in case you need it. I promised you the equipment that you needed, because everyone should have the new Brio camera, webcam. That's the best.
I have it.
Oh, you do? It's amazing. And then some other things you need. So guys, all you have to do is grab your smartphone. Does everyone have their smartphone? Grab your smartphone, go to the camera, and just put it right here. And then boom, it will take you right to zoomqueen.com. And by the way, my ebook is there. I'm doing a deep dive tomorrow. So, I would sign up for that if you want to, where I go even deeper and I do breakouts and do some crazy things, share with you my whole equipment setup. And I would just love to work with you. And I have some where you can also pick my brain for 30 days. Bottom line, guys, you can Zoom like a boss too. I normally pay music now, but not today. You can Zoom like a boss too. Again, Zooming like a boss means, I'm going to change the world in my own way, on my own terms. And I want to connect to as many people as possible and keep my energy while I'm doing it. So my name is Marquessa Patway, your Zoom queen, and I'm here to serve. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Show your videos, guys, and let's give her a beautiful round of applause. Turn your video on so we can see everyone. Awesome. You are awesome. Thank you so much. You are a wealth. And thank you, Gina, also for your amazing contribution to our time today. Hey, guys, I hope you enjoyed the Rubber to the Road or mega session. Marquessa, thank you so much for joining us today. We love you very much. And everyone who continues to follow me, thank you so much for your support. And we'll see you on the next, look for the follow-up email, and we'll have all of the information for Gina and Marquessa, and so that you guys can continue to work with them and follow them and be a raving fan. Guys, have a great rest of your day. We'll see you at the next Rubber to the Road. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye now.
Bye, guys.
Snaps.